Hi there, how are you doing? Are you good? Glad to hear it. So, speakers. Speakers come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Well, there's more sizes than there are shapes, but you know what I mean. Anyway, what we have here are two types of speakers. One is more expensive than the other. They both have very different sound profiles. They're both made for different purposes. One colours the sound and the other one keeps it as neutral as possible. So this isn't going to be a comparison video of the both of these. It's going to be a comparison of the before and after of this. So even though these speakers down here are designed to play as flat, as neutral as possible, sound coloration is probably still going to happen. Because even the slightest amount of sound coloration is still coloration of sound. It's just not as obvious as these speakers. Now, like I said, these speakers have their own uses. This is designed to make music with. It's supposed to sound as flat as possible so you can hear the sound the way the sound is supposed to be heard. This will have a slight peak in the treble, maybe a bit in the bass. So you probably use something like this for parties and stuff. Now, it's going to be quite difficult to get a neutral sound to begin with, seeing as though most microphones used to record sound also colour the sound. These speakers do the best at giving a neutral sound, and making music with something like this is better than making music with something like this. But if you wanted to make music with something like this, how would you go about neutralising that sound? That colour in the sound? You could probably maybe use an equalizer and flatten out those signals that are being boosted. It can be quite a mission to lower those frequencies unless you have something to reference the sound with, such as this. And you could use an equalizer and then start lowering those frequencies. But you know, you got to know where to start with the frequencies, and that is where an equalizer like this can come in handy. Okay, so we've got this speaker set up right there and it's facing directly at me. I've even got it on a bit of a tilt. So what I'll do now is play this track right here, which is from the YouTube audio library. If you type in that name, you'll find it. Then you'll get some sort of an idea of how these speakers sound. And then what I'll do is connect a microphone to this equalizer right here. And what this equalizer will then do is send out pink noise to the speaker and correct for any incorrect frequencies coming through the speaker. So yeah, then what I'll do is play the same song again, and you will then hear the difference, if there actually even is a difference. Alright, now I'll play the song and you can listen to what it sounds like. Also, you might want to note that there's a bit of raspiness coming from one of the tweeters. I'm thinking it's one of the tweeters when the guitars are playing. Okay, so I've plugged in the analyzing microphone. What I'll do now is I'll begin the auto EQ process. Not too familiar with that process, but we'll see how it goes, and then we'll return to the speaker. Okay, so that right there is the target EQ curve. That's what it will try to aim for when auto equalizing. So now I'll go to the next page and let it do its thing. Okay, so as you saw there, it equalized the sound, but the entire spectrum of sound was being equalized. And what I mean by that is that the lower frequencies were also being done. I should have actually set this to start off at around 40 Hz and upwards, but I included the frequencies lower than 40 Hz, so that might sound a bit weird. What I might do now though is redo it. Never done it before. Alright, so they've more or less been done now. The lowest I'll set it to, I'd say 40 Hz, because I don't really see the speaker getting lower than 40 Hz. That should be good enough. Now, we'll go on to the next page. And I'll press start. Okay, so here we are back at the speaker, and what I'll do now is play that same song again and we'll see how different it sounds. Now just remember, this is the first time I'm doing this and nothing's been changed. The microphone that I used to record the sound originally is in the same position, and nothing else has changed apart from the EQ. So yeah, we'll see how this sounds. Okay, so I wasn't expecting those results. I'm actually quite impressed by the sound now. The gain offset on the equalizer was compensated for. That's very important. Now that is just one of the uses for this. There's a couple of other things you can use this for, but that is all I wanted to demo in this video, and I'm glad it worked the first time around. Nice result in the end. So I guess I'll see you in the next one.